wave goodbye to the fall sports season, we also usher out EPS One Act season. This year's team was under the direction of head coach Sonia Richer and assistant coach Jenna Lorderman. The team was busy all throughout the season. Their hard work really paid off as they placed fourth at the competitive NVC East Conference. At districts, they moved up to third. According to Richer, her team was busy.
So we have our first performance at NVC. The NVC conference this year got moved from Summerland to St. Bon's Gym down the street a ways, so that's kind of in our favor. That'll be next Tuesday, November 16th, and we'll perform at 11 o'clock that day. We will then have a public performance, 2 of them on the 23rd. We'll have a 3 o'clock all-school performance, and then that night we have our public performance. So like to invite any of the public and patrons to come at that time, especially any alma maters that are back for Thanksgiving. I was hoping they could come. And then districts this year is on the 29th at St. Mary's, which is the Monday right after Thanksgiving break. So that'll be a bit of a challenge.
As entertaining as One Act is, Richer also finds there are some difficulties.
The hardest part about coaching is probably scheduling practices. The kids that go out for One Act are oftentimes the kiddos that are in basketball or football and volleyball and have all these other responsibilities, which is great. But it does get to be tricky to schedule practices. They have to come back oftentimes at night. And I try to get them out of there at a decent time because I know they have homework possibly and want to eat and those types of things. It's been a challenge in the past too with COVID, but this year not the restrictions that are with that, so that hasn't been as difficult. So I count my blessings that the challenges aren't near as bad as they were last year.
Richard picked a play that really complements her team.
This year's play is called Hood of Sherwood, and it is based on Robin Hood, the story of Robin Hood, rob from the rich, give to the poor, that type of thing. I've seen it done in speech as an OID, and it's kind of funny. So I selected that poem because our students typically like to do humor, and it's funny, and that's why I picked that one. It's also the first year that I have a new assistant coach. Last year I had Mrs. Dorothy Heidoff, and this year I have Mrs. Jenna Lorneman, and this was her first year doing it, and so I knew it was something I was familiar with, something that I could manage. It also features one of the strengths that we have at EPS in regard to the boys in the junior class are experienced in acting and like to have a lot of fun with it, so I knew that it would be really easy to cast.
Second year member, junior William Heilhecker, feels One Act participation is a good idea.
I think other students should join as well, mostly because it looks really good on a resume, and also it's just something fun to do, and it's a lot of fun, I think.
Heilhecker also has some favorite parts of One Act.
I'd have to say going to all the performances that we have, I think NVC and districts, mostly because we get to see all these other performances that a bunch of schools have worked on, and we get to watch them and enjoy them the entire time, so it's really cool.
This year, he really enjoyed his character.
I'd say my favorite character is Prince John, mostly because, he's kind of like a snobby little prince who thinks he's important. I guess I just kind of like that character, especially since I used to play Nigel back in speech, so just matches.
Heilhecker also enjoyed his costume.
It would definitely have to be the character I play, Prince John. I get to wear a nice little crown and everything, so I look real cool.
Junior Jack Wemhoff feels One Act can be challenging.
I would say the hardest part about One Act is probably memorizing your lines and all the time and commitment it takes.
However, once that's mastered, Wemhoff has lots of confidence when performing.
I really never get nervous about performing fine arts, so I just go with the flow and send her.
Wemhoff likes being involved in a variety of activities.
I joined One Act because it's a different experience besides just doing athletics, and it gets you really not nervous to speak in front of people.
This year, Wemhoff enjoyed his part.
My role in One Act is a drunk guy. His name is Friar Tuck, and I enjoy it because it's a challenge to talk like a drunk guy.
Junior Corbin Kinney was ready for the season, so nerves were not an issue.
No, I'm not nervous for One Act. I've been doing it for the past 2 years, so I have a little bit of experience.
However, Kenny does struggle with other areas.
The hardest part of one act, I would have to say, is memorizing the lines and remembering where they are and cues to go with it.
Kenny's favorite part of this season was the role he played.
My role is, I would say, a side character or one of the main characters, and I enjoy it because I don't have many lines, but I'm always on stage and always in with all the scenes and whatnot.
Sophomore Brenna Martinson also feels one act presents challenges, especially when it comes to performances.
Making the play to the required time,
Regardless, she feels others should join.
because it gets you out of your comfort zone.
Martinson also had a favorite part of the play.
When the guards arrest all of the merry men.
Congratulations on a great season, one act.